All right, Ross, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Yeah, not a problem. Is that go that way? Get
Adjusted. There you go.
There we go.
That's perfect. Yes. Awesome. Thank you for working with us this morning in advance of Talladega. So before we get started, why don't you just give us kind of an overview of your season so far and kind of how your team plans to approach this weekend in Talladega.
Wow, that's that's like old school press conference. We get to talk a little bit before we go straight into questions. That's like the old days. I mean, approach it the same way we've approached every week, right? We go try to win, and that's what we've tried to do all year, and we're on a path to get there.
All right, and now we'll go straight into questions for Ross. If you have one, friendly reminder to just raise your hand within the Zoom platform, and we're going to try to fit in as many questions as we can in the time that we have with Ross. And to kick us off, we're going to start with Chris Estrada. Go ahead, Chris.
Ross, thanks for joining us today. I have two questions. So in regards to the season as a whole, based on whatever expectations you and your team had entering the season, how do you assess the first 9 races? Where do you think you've made progress, and where do you see clear areas of improvement moving forward?
Yeah, I assess them as humbling for sure. There's been a lot of things that I just have done wrong behind the wheel, and just from small details of driving the car, and we're just working down a path of with no practice of trial and error through these races to see what works for me and what works for the car, and just got to be better, right? So we've been pretty honest with ourselves, and we've been pretty transparent with each other of what we see, and there's I put a lot of that on me. There's a lot of things I've got to be doing better, and we'll just keep working towards that.
I'm kind of reminded of last week, Bubba Wallace kind of mentioned how he was in a situation where he was still building up his notepad with his new team, still trying to guide them on what he liked out of his race car, what he didn't like out of his race car. Are you finding a similar situation where you are with the 42 as you and the team kind of grow together?
Yeah, absolutely. If we could go back and do these races again with what we've learned, right, I'm sure they would be better and we would be better. And that's what makes the good guys great, though, is they're really good at this. So to try to catch up and beat them in our first couple of at-bats is a tall task, but it's what we signed up for. So I never realized how much I appreciated practice coming up through the series, and even in my time in the Cup Series over the last few years. Man, what I would give for a few laps of practice.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Scott Chansey. Go ahead, Scott.
Yes, it's coming up to the NASCAR race in a couple weeks at Darlington. There's only been like 7 or 8 races on actual Mother's Day. With that in mind, from your racing career coming up, what kind of role did your mother play in your career?
Big, very big. Yeah. She's driving right now to Talladega with her sister, my aunt. They're road tripping and bringing some fresh watermelons from our farm. She sent me a video last night from the field, and she was picking up. That was her last stop. She was out there with my brother. He was picking her out the best couple of watermelons, and they were getting on the road and going to drive through the night. So they should be about there. And starting out, she was always there, supported me, did everything from, sewing the patches on my suits to helping us load the race car, driving me before I was 16 and even 15 with my learner's permit. She would drive me to the track, and if my dad was at the field or farm or something, she would drive me there, and we would unload the car. It was a couple times, and she just always support. Like, she knew I wanted to race, so those early years for me were just hobby racing and what we love to do. So we've had some special times, and she's probably brought it up more, but it's brought our family closer together. It's brought in her parents more into, giving them a more active role for me growing up, where my granddad, her dad could come and he was a gearhead. We could work on the race car, and it just gave us all excuses to be around each other. So it really brought us all together.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Bob Pockris. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, Ross, I'm curious, considering where you are in points, do you guys even talk about playoffs and, okay, if we can figure out a way to win this one race that changes the whole complexion of our season, or is it more just about kind of improvement and getting better?
Well, every driver and every team looks at the points. They usually come out about the time if we're flying, we get to the plane. You can usually find it by then online, and yeah, everybody glances at it. But we definitely haven't had the points acquisition this year that we were looking for. We haven't finished good enough to deserve the points in a lot of the races. So we're just building, and no, there's been no, we just talk about what do we need these cars to do, and what do I need to do better, and what do we need to do better as a team, Bob. It's more about the progress of these race cars and myself. Obviously the playoffs are a big deal, and missing them would not be good. So the goal is still to make them, and there's still an opportunity. There's a lot of opportunities. We have way more races left in the regular season than we've ran, so we can just as easily gain or lose the amount of points we're behind than that we've already gained or lost.
Is there a particular track or type of track that you think will be more conducive to you potentially winning?
The next one. Every week's the next one.
All right, we're going to take our next question from Cole. Go ahead, Cole.
Thank you, Amanda, and thank you, Ross, for your time. It seems like you guys have kind of been hitting your stride over the last couple of weeks. Would you say heading to Talladega puts you in a favorable or kind of unfavorable position in terms of keeping momentum?
I go to Talladega. I heard a Truck Series veteran say this a long time ago, and it like clicked in my head. Like, I just go there with this, we'll probably crash, and it's the art of getting through it, right? And getting through it with minimal damage or no damage, and putting yourself in position to win at the end. So I think that what I learned at the 500 will pay off, although it was a smaller pack most of the race after the first big crash. So Talladega is a little bit wider, a little bit easier entry and exits of the corner, so it's doesn't funnel down and cause the stack ups and the accordion effects, which seem to cause a lot of wrecks so much. But still, there's going to be wrecks. So I don't know if we're favorable. I don't know if anybody's favorable going into Talladega. Like, you could be leading the race and get turned 90 degrees off in the grass or in the wall. And it's really, it's just Talladega, right? That's what we all say. So we'll just go race. That's all we'll do. We'll work with Team Chevy and Kurt Busch and Spire and see what we can come out with.
And the double yellow line rule has been a hot topic since it was first introduced, and even as early as last year in the fall. I'm curious what your stance is on it, and if you'd like to see it stay, go, or maybe change at some capacity.
It's got to stay. I mean, it's there for a reason. You can't have that transition on the apron. We can't have that. You couldn't have that back in the day. That's why they put it into place, right? As cars get down the apron, they're going to crash either way. I get it, but there's got to be a rule. I mean, they don't even print the NASCAR rule book anymore. It's so long. It's just online. You can download it. So it's got to be there. And then a good reminder would have been the iRacing event. There was no double yellow line rule there. It's not even painted double on there from their last scan, I guess. But, I think the guy that should have won the race got beat because of a pass below the double yellow. And back where I was in the middle of the pack, there was guys passing below the yellow line all day, all race long on iRacing. So, there was no enforcement there, and we can't have that. We're just needs to stay, and it is what it is. Like, we all know the rules, so why are we complaining about it? It's a rule. Let's just go race.
Thank you. Good luck Sunday.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Anton, and then after Anton, Ashley, feel free to jump in and ask your questions. Anton, go ahead.
Thanks, Amanda. Good morning, Ross. You're 9 races into the season with the Chip Ganassi Racing. What is the thing that you enjoy the most in this cooperation?
The people. There's so many. Well, one, there's so many people. I'm still meeting a lot of them, but 170 some odd people here is the biggest thing that I actually kind of not got in trouble, but I got reminded of. It was a few weeks in. I kept going to my crew chief and Doug Ducart, but Phil Surgeon and Doug Doug was like, hey, like, we have people for all this stuff, right? Like, I kept going to them with questions and ideas, and they're like, here's your person for this. So now I don't go to them necessarily with an idea. I go to them with a question of who do I talk to about this, and who do I talk to about that? And that's why this building is here in Concord, and that's why that they've been able to sustain so long, is the people that their whole, their livelihood and their job is to push these two race cars. So whether it's from the business side, competition side, that's their goal. And I'm just a lucky guy that gets to drive the car. So it's just such a higher volume and higher level and higher quality than I've ever been a part of. That's the best part, is that you just see so many people and that have been around, like these guys and girls, they've forgotten more than I've ever learned. And so it's really neat to continue this process of meeting people, and all, like, there's so many rooms in this shop and so many departments, and navigating my way through this on more than just a walk through, wave and keep moving, aspect, is truly getting to know them. It's kind of a never ending process for me right now.
Thank you. Wishing you all the best for this weekend.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey Ross, thanks for your time today. Has your transition to the Cup Series gone as you expected, and what has surprised you the most?
What has surprised me the most about the Cup Series?
Yeah, has the transition for you to the Cup Series gone as expected, and what has surprised you the most in making that transition with Chip Ganassi full-time Cup?
Yeah, so I've been here a few years, right? And I haven't raced. I've raced for other teams, and I've just been here, a good chunk of days out of the week over the years, and watch these cars get built, sent out, come back, built, raced, come back, torn apart. Like, watched all these processes, couch raced. I'm a self-proclaimed couch racer, a big one too. So what I mean is, like, if I see a race car on track, I think I could drive it better. And I'm like, man, he should be higher. He should enter higher. He should wait to pick up the throttle and ease into it and hook those rear tires up, where I get in the car and I drive in shallow and I pick up the gas too soon. Like, so I'm a couch racer. So it's hard. The transition of on track has been hard, but the transition of this in the shop, great. I mean, there really wasn't one. The funniest thing was probably that the guy I knew the least on the team, on the 42 team, was actually Phil Surgeon. Like, I had passed him, kind of had a few, maybe kind of knew him, but until we were going to do this, knew we were going to race this car last fall, I didn't know who Phil Surgeon was, truly. So that transition was probably the funniest, and now we're close and talk every day, and just really hit it off. So, but it's hard. This level of this sport is, gosh, it's so hard. I can't put it into words.
And now, seeing how your season has started, what's the goals and expectations moving forward, and have they shifted from where they were originally?
No, I mean, we have attainable goals, right? We have the small steps, just to do the obvious things right, of checking the boxes on all kinds of things in a race. But no, our goal is still to win. We don't come into this race shop every day, and, well, I'm not here every day, but these boys and girls and my process for preparing for a race has not changed. It's ramped up. It's only ramped up. We're only pushing harder, and it's with that goal of winning. Like, we're competitive people. We're competitive thinkers. I think competitively about everything. in every aspect of my life, it's a competition most of the time with myself to do better. So that can be hard sometimes because it can feel like I'm just running on a spinning wheel and I just can't catch up. But I it's just how I'm wired, and that's I wake up and my mind instantly goes to a competition about something, what I need to do, what I want to accomplish, and what I want to do and need to do to get there. So, no, we're not backing down. We're not cruising. These guys are here late, up early. We've got a lot of things we want to accomplish this year.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Cole, did you have a follow-up question?
I did not. Sorry about that.
Okay, yeah, no problem. I just wanted to double check. Well, Ross, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time and being willing to join or hang with us, I guess, for a few minutes before Talladega this weekend.
That's right. Thanks for waving to me yesterday, Amanda.
Yeah, no problem. Good seeing you.